The following is a transcript between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am, originally produced on October 4th, 2020, under the constellation Libra, in the mental week examining through the third eye chakra. Me. Perhaps there is no duality more harsh and controversial than that one that corresponds to the third eye. Since time immemorable, the stories of night and day and their battles for supremacy have divided the world. And yet, for the light, most fall to the tools of the dark. What makes this polarity the most difficult to integrate? I am. It all started with those bacteria that we once talked about. At the bottom of the ocean, the volcanic broths of minerals and high heat allowed the emergence of living organisms from the combination of these elements, generating a membrane of materials that contain a drop of water inside that would allow them to contain energy. This originated a cell, and they began to become more complex. By filling the bottom of the oceans, a huge number were left without food, and the only option they found was to ascend and search for another type of food. From the dark, abysmal depths, they emerged toward the surface in search of light. They became photosensitive and began to photosynthesize, that is, to synthesize light to turn it into food and energy. This expanded unicellular organisms to be multicellular. The population of the oceans was so great that many began to also seek to come to the surface. Plants did it first, seeking sunlight and changing the Earth's atmosphere by filling it with gases, absorbing carbon from volcanoes and releasing oxygen, creating this biosphere. So it was that the animals began to consume plants and then to consume each other. For billions of years, each living being organized its life based on the appearance of the sun and the arrival of the night. The light implied food, security, and visibility. The night implied danger, saving energy, and sleep. Taking advantage of the circumstances in which the majority were defenseless at night, many animals became nocturnal, attacking and creating in the collective subconscious the idea of evil beings that emerged from the darkness. The great battle was consuming light energy, feeding on it, and it didn't matter how. Everything was worth it. When the hominoids appeared, all of this information began to rationalize. Well, one of the attributes of the beings would be that it gives rise to the human is the ability to share information through culture. The culture became the way that humans conveyed the importance of light by calling it what is good, and darkness by calling it what is bad. The stories of demonic, angelic beings, divinities, all that formed the basis of the human mentality was the transmission of the basic information of day and night, solstices and equinox, seasons, sowing and reaping. Thus, the cultures organized religion in a way to maintain and ensure survival. Me. I find it fascinating to understand that what we have today as beliefs have come to us through the transmission of basic concepts such as food and safety. I am. That duality does not happen on planets with more than one sun or with a lot of light. Here, it is very marked by the fact that half of the planet is at night when the other half is during the day. Me. So the duality is not bad if it is in our ancestral nature. I am. Of course it's not bad. It's useful. Although it ceases to be so when seeking to transcend the physical world and wanting to reach the spiritual, it makes us project our biology on a level where there is no such division. As long as you have a body, you will live between light and darkness. Because your pineal gland controls your sleep and wakefulness, it is sleeping and waking up organically. You are designed to fall asleep at night, to protect yourself in a safe place, and to wake up in the day to act. For this reason, the search to act in the light does not come from a spiritual and conditional path, but from a biological reaction. Me, what about all the beings that I feel or we feel that we call angels and demons, all of the beings that we recognize as light and dark? I am. The earth is a unique system, but at the same time a fractal of the universe. As is above, so below. The law of correspondence shows that everything you perceive on the outside is a projection of the inside, but in turn, the formation of the inside has been a constant reaction to the impulses from the outside. Now, let's get off of Earth to see the cosmos. In the beginning, there was only the void, the nothing, similar to the black hole. Precisely the maximum darkness. Just like the bottom of the oceans, a huge energy collapsed into this deep void, generating a vibration that expanded in the form of light. The light was energy. The more it vibrated, the more frequencies and patterns emerged, collapsing back on itself the moment of the Big Bang arose, the great explosion that generated matter. The light traveled in all directions, and now it was emanated by the suns that radiated toward 360 degrees of a sphere. When light is projected into a physical object, shadows appear. Throughout this process, it makes you see something. Darkness is what allows matter to be seen. It is what gave life to the universe. Because from the void, the collapse of light on itself, existence arose. Light is the energy that sustains life and guides it on the paths of existence. Me. As in the image I chose for today, what we see as diabolical or dark is nothing more than a projection of light on forms. I am. Angels, demons, and many other entities, they are like the multicellular organisms of the cosmos. Both seek to use energy for their own benefit, just like living beings on earth. The dark ones, demons, the devil, are nothing more than the designers of realities, architects of life that distort the light so that we can exist. The dark ones are like bees that take pollen and nectar from the flower of light, from souls, to create honeycombs and honey. And if you bother them at work, they won't hesitate to bite you. Sometimes the dark ones wish to live their own creations, seeking energy in human bodies or in nature, just like insects and bacteria or viruses. The demons are the mechanisms of development and evolution. The beings of light are plants and flowers and direct products of the light that unconditionally delivers the medicine and the food. Neither plants nor insects are bad in nature. In fact, without one or the other, the world would be destroyed. Me. So you're telling me that those whom we have put to war have never been in battle? I am. There have been some, as in the kingdom of insects. There are many fights and many devour the flowers. But it is still something natural. Humans put culture to what we did not have. Light and dark beings have worked together since the beginning of time in the same way that plants use insects for pollination. Me. So the light uses the dark to expand its territory. I am. That's right. The more plants, the more insects, balance. The creators of the worlds, the designers of life. Me. Why do they sometimes attack us? I have experienced exorcisms, and I have felt the struggle between the beings of light and darkness. I am. Of course, as I told you, in nature there is an incessant struggle to consume energy, and humans are a very great emotional source. Me. And so, how do we stop this from happening? I am. You can't kill bees because you know they can sting you. You must learn to live with them. Plant more plants, more flowers, give them nectar, make offerings to them. Me. That reminds me of what they do in the island of Bali, Indonesia. The first time I went, I saw them put offerings of flowers and fruits at the doors of temples and the rooms, and I asked who it was for, and I was told it was for the demons and darkness. And at that moment I was surprised, and they explained to me if I honor them for their work in the world and make food offerings to them, they will feel loved and they will not get into mischief. I thought it was the most loving thing I had ever heard. I am. Because as we speak, darkness and light coexist in symbiosis. When you seek to enter the world of consciousness, you see that everything is one, and that the world of unconsciousness, rooted in positive and negative currents, disappears. For the consciousness, there is no fight between both, but they are useful, yin and yang. Me. To enter the spiritual world of consciousness, then, it is to understand the nature of all entities of light and darkness, to recognize that it is the light that projects the dark forms that we see. I understand that the light, when expanding in the matter, reveals its irregularities and distortions, showing all the aspects that must be integrated. I am. Look at the image again and observe how the light is a perfect circle, a luminous sphere, which on matter reveals all the steps of evolution in a dark demonic image. Normally, in the times of wisdom and initiatic schools, the most essential knowledge of light was disguised as scary beings, spider, snake, scorpion, crocodiles, the devil, and many others. Because in this way the wise men made sure that only those who had transcended fear and survival of the world of forms would reach wisdom. Whoever could see through the eyes of the serpent, whoever pierced the devil safely, would be behind the light. The steps of evolution were disguised as darkness to understand that it was only a mechanism for the development of light, bees and flowers. Me. So I am the light and the darkness. Both live in me, and honoring both parts is what I can transcend to full consciousness. I am. Find the balance between your light and shadows. Draw them, manifest them, and you will be free because you will become a creator of realities. Me. I am the light and the dark in balance. I am creator. My